Welcome, dear listener. My name is Aiden, and I will be your narrator for tonight. Take a moment to settle in, finding a position where your body feels completely at ease. Close your eyes if you'd like, and allow the gentle rhythm of your breath to guide you. Inhale deeply, feeling calm and stillness fill you, and exhale, releasing the weight of the day. But before we begin, we'd love to hear from you. Where are you listening from? And what time is it as you settle in to hear this story? We'd also love to know what kinds of stories you'd enjoy next. Your thoughts and suggestions inspire us, so please share them in the comments below. Oh, and I wanted to share an important update with you. Currently, only 5.5% of our viewers are subscribed to the channel, which means 94.5% of you haven't subscribed yet. If you've been enjoying our bedtime stories, subscribing is a simple and free way to support us. At the moment, we aim to remove all mid-roll ads from our videos to provide a seamless and uninterrupted viewing experience. Unfortunately, we are unable to do so because we have not yet reached the threshold required to gain control over ad placements. Reaching 1,000 subscribers will allow us to remove all mid-roll ads, ensuring a completely uninterrupted and relaxing experience for you. Your support means the world to us, and together we can make TerraNash an even more peaceful place for storytelling. If you'd like even more from TerraNash, you can check out our Patreon for early access to all our stories and a curated Spotify playlist to accompany your journey to relaxation. Now, let us journey together into the vast and tranquil heart of the desert. Picture endless dunes bathed in the soft glow of moonlight, their curves as fluid and timeless as the ocean waves. Tonight's tale is a gentle escape, a story of mystery, wonder, and purpose, carried on the soft winds of the dunes. It is a story to lull your thoughts into stillness, like footprints swept away by the sand. Let the soothing imagery cradle your mind, as my voice becomes a guide leading you further into the embrace of calm. With every passing moment, you feel lighter, as though the worries of the day are but grains of sand slipping through your fingers. The magic of the desert is here, waiting to wrap you in its quiet splendor and carry you toward peaceful rest. Relax, dear listener, and allow the sands of this story guide you gently into a place of dreams. The desert stretched endlessly, golden dunes rolling beneath the amber glow of the setting sun. The air shimmered with heat, and the only sound was the occasional whisper of the wind as it shifted the sand. Amid this vast expanse of solitude, a lone trader named Rahim guided his camel along a well-worn path. His robes were sun-bleached, his skin tanned from years of travel. Rahim was accustomed to the desert's silence, but tonight, a peculiar unease gnawed at the edges of his mind. The moon was nearly full, rising slowly in the east, its silver light casting long shadows across the dunes. Rahim reached an ancient, crumbling way station as darkness fell. It was little more than a roofless ruin, but it provided a place to rest. He tethered his camel, unrolled his mat, and prepared a simple meal. The fire crackled softly, its warmth a fragile barrier against the cool desert breeze. Just as Rahim was settling in, a faint sound drifted through the air, a low hum, almost imperceptible. He froze, straining his ears. The hum grew louder, resolving into the rhythmic beat of drums and the faint strains of a haunting melody. Rahim stood, his heart quickening. Music was a rare thing in the desert, especially at this hour. Rising to his feet, he climbed a nearby dune. What he saw stole the breath from his lungs. Beneath the moonlight, a caravan glided across the sands. But this was no ordinary procession. The figures moved with an otherworldly grace, their forms faintly translucent, their garments shimmering like starlight. Camels, wagons, and travelers all seemed to drift rather than walk, their presence both ethereal and mesmerizing. At the caravan's head rode a figure cloaked in silver, their face obscured by a veil that glittered like frost. Rahim felt compelled to approach, though an instinctual part of him urged caution. He descended the dune, his steps cautious, his breath shallow. The caravan seemed unaware of him until he stood directly before it. Then, as if sensing his presence, the procession halted. The cloaked leader turned to him, their voice like a sigh carried on the wind.
"Traveler," they said, "what brings you to this place on such a night?" "I am but a humble trader," Rahim replied, his voice trembling. "Who are you, and how is it that you travel in such a strange manner?"
The leader tilted their head, as if amused by the question. "We are the Silent Caravan, bound to wander the desert under the light of the full moon. Come, if you wish to know more." Rahim hesitated, but the pull of curiosity was too strong. He nodded, and the leader extended a hand, their touch cool as the night. Together, they joined the caravan, which resumed its ghostly journey. As Rahim walked within the caravan, he began to notice peculiar details. The sands beneath their feet shimmered faintly, as if dusted with crushed pearls. The moonlight seemed brighter here, casting the travelers' faintly glowing forms in an ethereal glow. Rahim rubbed his eyes, wondering if exhaustion was playing tricks on him.
But as the caravan advanced, the air itself began to change.
It became heavier yet fragrant, like the scent of jasmine carried on a gentle wind. Stars above gleamed brighter, and Rahim felt as though he were walking within a dream. The vast desert blurred at the edges, its harsh contours softening into something surreal. The further they traveled, the more Rahim felt the boundaries of reality thinning. He glanced back, expecting to see the familiar dunes he had traversed. Instead, the horizon shimmered with unfamiliar colors: violet, gold, and a deep blue that pulsed like a heartbeat. Ahead, the caravan's leader raised a hand, and the music shifted. The drums quieted, replaced by a haunting melody played on unseen strings. "What is this place?" Rahim asked the woman beside him, her form now more solid, though her feet barely disturbed the sand. "We call it the world between worlds," she whispered. "It is neither here nor there, a realm where the living and the departed touch." Rahim shivered, despite the warm night air. How is this possible? The woman offered him a faint smile. The Silent Caravan has walked this path for centuries. In our journey, we have learned the secrets of the veil. It is thin here, where mortal life gives way to eternity. Those who wander far enough may glimpse its edges. Rahim looked around in awe. The stars seemed closer now, their light forming delicate constellations that pulsed in rhythm with the music. Shadows danced on the sand, though there was no source for them. In this place, the rules of the world he knew no longer applied. The caravan arrived at the oasis of shadows, just as the first light of dawn kissed the horizon. Rahim's breath caught in his throat at the sight. The water was black as obsidian, its surface perfectly still, reflecting the sky like a mirror. It seemed to pulse with a light of its own, faint ripples shimmering like molten silver with every beat. Surrounding the water were palm trees unlike any Rahim had seen. Their trunks were deep grey, their fronds shimmering with hues of gold and silver. The ground beneath them sparkled as though scattered with crushed gemstones. And yet, despite the beauty, a profound stillness hung over the oasis, as though it held a secret too heavy to bear.
"This place," Rahim began, but his voice faltered. Words felt inadequate.
"The oasis of shadows," the leader said, their voice a gentle murmur. "Here, the boundaries between life and death dissolve. It is the source of our bond and the heart of our curse." The spectral travelers began to gather around the water. One by one, they knelt at its edge, their hands cupped to draw its shimmering surface to their lips. As they drank, their forms grew sharper, their translucent edges solidifying briefly. The music of the caravan shifted, growing deeper and more melancholic, echoing like a lament for something long lost. Rahim watched, a pang of unease twisting in his chest. "What happens if they drink?" "They remember," the leader said. "Each drop carries fragments of the lives we left behind, of the choices that brought us here. It sustains us, yet it binds us." Rahim hesitated. The water called to him, its dark surface promising answers to questions he hadn't yet formed. He stepped closer, the sands crunching softly beneath his feet. But the leader's voice stopped him. "Do not drink unless you are ready to join us," they said, their tone heavy with warning. "The oasis offers knowledge, but it also takes. It is the gatekeeper of our fate." Rahim withdrew, his heart pounding. The travelers around him were murmuring softly now, their voices blending into the music. He felt their sadness, as if it were his own, and he began to understand the weight of their burden. The days with the caravan passed like a dream. Rahim found himself drawn to their purpose, the quiet dignity with which they carried their sorrow. They sought out lost travelers, guiding them through the treacherous dunes, offering water and solace. It was a life of service, bound by unspoken rules and quiet rituals. Yet Rahim couldn't shake the question that lingered in his mind. Did he belong here? As the next full moon approached, the leader summoned Rahim to the oasis. The caravan gathered in a silent circle, their glowing forms a soft halo around the dark water. The leader stood beside him, their silver veil shimmering under the moonlight. "It is time, Rahim," they said. "You must choose. Will you remain with us, bound to this eternal path, or will you return to the mortal world?" Rahim hesitated, the weight of the decision pressing down on him. He thought of his life as a trader, the endless miles of barren desert, the fleeting interactions with strangers who quickly faded from memory. It was a life of freedom, but also of solitude. He looked at the travelers around him, their sorrowful eyes watching him in silence. They were bound by their past, yet their purpose gave their existence meaning. To guide the lost, to bring peace to the weary. It was a life of sacrifice, but also of connection. "If I join you," Rahim said, his voice barely above a whisper, "will I lose myself?" The leader's gaze softened.
You will change, yes, but you will not be lost. You will become part of something greater, a light in the darkness for those who wander.
Rahim's mind raced. He thought of the lonely nights by his fire, the endless stretches of sand with no end in sight. And he thought of the travelers he had walked beside, the quiet strength they showed in their endless journey. "I will join you," he said at last. "Not for eternity, but for the chance to make a difference."
The leader inclined their head, a rare warmth in their voice. "Then step forward and let the oasis embrace you."
Rahim knelt at the water's edge, his reflection shimmering with a faint glow. As he cupped the liquid in his hands, it felt impossibly cool, as though it held the chill of distant stars. He drank, and a wave of light enveloped him. For a moment, he saw fragments of his own life, memories of laughter, sorrow, and quiet moments beneath the desert sky. Then they faded, replaced by a profound stillness. When Rahim rose, his form shimmered with the same ethereal light as the travelers. He looked at the caravan, his new family, and felt a sense of belonging he had never known. Over the following nights, Rahim journeyed with the caravan, learning their stories and witnessing their acts of quiet kindness. They found lost travelers, guided them to safety, and offered solace to those in despair. Rahim began to understand the profound beauty in their mission, even as he grappled with his decision. As the next full moon rose, Rahim stood at the edge of the oasis, the leader by his side. The time had come to choose. Rahim gazed at the shimmering water, the spectral travelers, and the endless desert beyond. As Rahim stepped into the water, a wave of cool light enveloped him. When he emerged, he felt lighter, his body translucent, his spirit at peace. He had become one with the Silent Caravan, a guide for the lost, a seeker of redemption. And so, under the light of the full moon, the caravan continued its endless journey, a beacon of hope in the heart of the desert.